Welcome to the Daily Wisdom Podcast, TDWP, where we draw on the wisdom of God for everyday life. Wisdom that steadies the heart, clears the mind, and strengthens the voice. I'm your host, Aurora, and today we've got something truly special brewing. We're discussing a remarkable new book titled I Resonate with Power, Conviction, and Love, a WPBS communication blueprint for influence and impact by Aaron M. Montag. You know, when I first picked this up, I thought, okay, another communication book, but it's so much more than that. This isn't a book about becoming a great speaker in the traditional sense. It is, profoundly, a book about becoming an aligned person whose words carry weight because they come from a place of truth, not just technique.
Exactly, Aurora. It's not performance training at all. It's identity alignment. And that's such a crucial distinction, isn't it? The author makes it incredibly clear that most communication problems are rarely just about vocabulary or a lack of oratorical skills. Most people struggle because fear, self-doubt, or internal tension really interferes with their clarity. They have something to say, but there's this internal static that just muddies the message.
That's so true. I mean, how many times have we all been there? You know what you want to say, you've rehearsed it in your head, maybe even multiple times, but then the moment comes, whether it's in a big meeting, a difficult conversation with a loved one, or even just explaining something simple, and suddenly the words scatter. You overthink everything, you rush, you ramble, or sometimes you just go completely silent. And afterward, the instant regret hits, and you replay the whole conversation thinking, that's not what I meant to say at all. This book speaks directly to that universal, often frustrating experience, and it does so with such deep compassion.
And it really acknowledges something deeply, deeply human about that struggle. Many people are not afraid of speaking because they lack intelligence or because they're fundamentally introverted. They're often afraid because they care so much. They want to be understood, truly understood. They don't want to hurt anyone, even unintentionally. They don't want to look foolish or expose a vulnerability. And above all, they don't want to get it wrong. That underlying care can become a burden, ironically, hindering the very connection they seek.
Which is precisely why the central concept of the book, resonance, is so profoundly powerful. It reframes the entire discussion. Resonance isn't loudness. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room or commanding attention through sheer volume. It's not about charisma, that often elusive, sometimes superficial charm. And it's certainly not about dominance, about overpowering others with your words. No, resonance is something far more authentic and frankly far more impactful. Resonance is what happens when your words, your deeply held beliefs, and your inner state, your true self, all agree, all align perfectly. When that happens, people don't just hear you, they feel you.
They really do. It's like a finely tuned instrument, isn't it? When all the strings vibrate in harmony, the sound isn't just louder, it's richer, deeper, more beautiful. And the book teaches that true, authentic resonance requires three essential elements operating together seamlessly: power, conviction, and love. The author breaks it down so clearly. Without genuine power, your words, no matter how clever or well-intended, lack real authority. They just don't land with the weight they should. Without a clear sense of conviction, your message will lack direction, appearing hesitant or even indecisive. And crucially, without love, all your power and conviction, however strong, will lack humanity. It'll feel cold, maybe even aggressive. But when these three elements come together, they create influence that feels both incredibly strong and incredibly safe. It's a rare and beautiful combination.
And you know, what truly struck me about this book, on a deeply personal level, is its dedication. It's dedicated to Valerie, the author's daughter. She's not presented as a case study or a completed transformation, which would be easy to do in a book like this. She appears only in that dedication, but that dedication, in its simplicity, carries enormous meaning. It speaks volumes without saying much at all.
Absolutely, Aurora. It's so powerful because it frames the entire book as a gift, not just to us, the readers, but to someone the author loves deeply, unequivocally. It suggests a profound sense of hope, belief, and expectation for Valerie. It's not saying, look what has already happened and how perfect she is. Instead, it's whispering, look what is possible for you. It makes the journey of transformation feel accessible and, frankly, much more loving.
Exactly, and I think many of our listeners, myself included, may recognize themselves in Valerie. Not because we know her specific story, though I'm sure it's beautiful, but because we all know our own stories of struggle and growth. If you struggle with speaking, if you wrestle with clarity or conciseness when you're trying to express something important, if you fear being misunderstood, or you simply don't always know what to say or how to say it effectively when the pressure is on, this book, through its principles and insights, describes the incredible transformation you can expect as you internalize its core messages. It's like the author is saying, I see you, Valerie, and I see all of you you who share these challenges, and here is a path forward.
In a profound sense, Valerie stands as a symbol of every thoughtful, earnest person who genuinely wants their voice to carry both truth and grace, but hasn't quite fully stepped into that confidence yet. And the book communicates such a loving, affirming message that growth is absolutely possible, and it starts from within. It's not about becoming someone you're not, it's about revealing the powerful, convicted, and loving communicator you were always meant to be.
That really resonates with the spiritual foundation of our podcast. James 1:5 in the King James Version tells us, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." Wisdom is such a key component here, isn't it? Because wisdom produces clarity. Wisdom produces restraint, knowing when and how to speak, and wisdom certainly produces courage, but it's a courage that is always tempered by compassion. It's not reckless bravado, it's grounded, thoughtful courage.
And Proverbs 16:23, also in the KJV, adds to that beautifully. "The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips." So communication at its deepest level improves not merely by practicing words or mastering techniques, but by cultivating the heart and mind first. It's an inside-out job. If your heart is wise, if your mind is sound, then your mouth naturally follows suit. It's a refreshing perspective, especially in a world that often prioritizes external fixes.
That's why this book so powerfully emphasizes internal alignment. Think about it. When fear dominates, our thoughts scatter. When anxiety rises, conciseness disappears, and we might ramble or just shut down. But when the mind is settled in truth, when the heart is at peace, words organize themselves naturally. There's a beautiful flow. It becomes almost effortless. You realize that peace truly precedes clarity. You can't force clear communication from a place of internal chaos.
And that, for me, is incredibly encouraging, because it means you don't have to struggle to force brilliance or adopt some artificial persona. You cultivate stability, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and your communication strengthens as a natural, beautiful byproduct. It's like tending to the soil, knowing that the fruits will come in due time. The focus shifts from what do I do to speak better, to who do I become so that my words effortlessly reflect my truest self.
That's such a perfect way to put it, and it brings to mind another profound verse, 2 Timothy 1:7, KJV. "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Just listen to that again. Power, love, sound mind. When you read this book, especially through the lens of that verse, it practically reads like a divine blueprint for resonance, for truly impactful communication. It's all there, the inner strength, the compassionate heart, the clear and stable mind. What more could you ask for?
It's really stunning how perfectly those concepts align. So imagine Valerie, or honestly anyone like her, like many of our listeners, completing this book, reflecting deeply on its insights, diligently applying its principles day by day, and gradually discovering something incredible. They find that conversations feel easier, more natural, their thoughts come together more quickly, more coherently, and their words, they start to carry a calm authority instead of that familiar strain or hesitation. That, Aurora, is the profound transformation the book points toward. It's not a quick fix, it's a journey into yourself.
It really is. It's not about overnight perfection, because let's be honest, that doesn't exist. It's not about theatrical confidence that fades the moment you step off stage. It's about steady, authentic growth, every day, in every way, becoming clearer, calmer, stronger, more loving, and yes, more persuasive, in the very best, most ethical sense of that word. It's about your words earning trust and building bridges, rather than just delivering information.
And that growth, that internal shift, benefits not only the speaker themselves, but also literally everyone around them. Think about it: family members, co-workers, friends, communities. Clear, compassionate communication, rooted in resonance, naturally reduces conflict and dramatically increases understanding. It fosters connection and builds stronger relationships across the board. The impact ripples outward in such a positive way.
Absolutely. So if you have ever wished your words could reflect your true heart, your true intentions more accurately, if you deeply desire to speak with both strength and kindness, with courage and empathy, if you want your voice to carry influence without aggression, without that feeling of forcing or pushing, this book, I Resonate with Power, Conviction, and Love, truly is for you. It's an invitation to a deeper, more fulfilling way of communicating.
We genuinely encourage all of you to read I Resonate with Power, Conviction, and Love. It's available right now at mx3motivationalbooks.com. Don't delay on this one, seriously, it's a game changer.
Consider it an investment in your voice, not for fleeting applause, but for lasting impact. Because somewhere, someone truly needs the wisdom, the encouragement, or the truth that only you, in your unique voice and experience, can express. And when your words flow from inner power, guided by unwavering conviction and carried in genuine love,
You don't just speak, you resonate.
Thank you for joining us today on the Daily Wisdom Podcast. What a powerful conversation, Ellie.
Always a pleasure, Aurora.
And to all our listeners,
Every day, in every way.
let's get better.